Good morning. We missed last week for In the Meantime and so forth, so my apologies. It was just a tough week for the whole staff. But today, I would just like to kind of speculate about things Roman and all of our winter happenings and seasonal goings on. Now, I love fall and spring, but winter and summer I can generally do without, especially summer. I look out my window, I did last week, at a slate gray, drizzly sky, and here we are on the cusp of winter, a time when for almost 1,000 years the Romans celebrated their festival of Saturnalia from the 17th to the 23rd of December. In a kind of Roman mythological cultural memory, this when Saturn ruled, the god Saturn ruled during a time of infinite bounty when every Roman and every person on the land could eat from the land and no one had to work. This was the mythology of the ancient past for the Romans. And I wonder sometimes if that golden age idea that led to the Saturnalia festival might be related to the earlier Jewish Garden of Eden accounts. But Saturnalia was a time when social roles were reversed. The master served his or her slaves. The slaves ate the banquet food. The master ate the slaves' food. Slaves were allowed to verbally abuse their masters. It was all in good fun, and everybody knew the festival would end and things would go back to normal in 6 days. Eating and drinking to excess was also the norm. There is a much more ancient anxiety in the Northern Hemisphere for cultures about the sun itself. They feared that the sun will die and that the earth would keep getting colder and crops would fail to grow. Everyone would starve. Saturnalia helped banish that anxiety with mirth and drunkenness, candle lighting, role reversal, gift giving, and even cards, although there wasn't a Hallmark back then. People exchanged gifts of low value as a recognition of gratitude for the recipient. Poems were penned on stiff parchment and exchanged sometimes as serious works and at other times as gags. One Roman writer signed his card, quote, "from the worst poet ever," end quote. In 247 AD, Emperor Aurelius declared that the religion of Sol Invictus, the unconquered sun, would be added to the official Roman pantheon of gods. Recall that this was a period in time when various Roman emperors across the empire were persecuting Christians. The birth date of the god Sol Invictus was set as December 25th, around the winter equinox, and the Saturnalia festival added another religious component. So less than a century later, Pope Julius I declared that the birth of Jesus would be on December 25th. And although no record of his reasoning has been found, many speculate that Christians could celebrate the birth of their Savior on the same date as a previous state religious festival. A second motivation was the idea that Jesus died on the anniversary of his conception. Passover in the 3rd century was celebrated on March 25th, so his conception would then be on December 25th. Now over in Bath, England, you can visit a Church of England cathedral erected near a natural hot springs, former Roman bath. The large public bath, by the way, still holds water, which is better than any plumbing in my house. In the same area was a Roman temple erected to the god Sol Invictus. Archaeologists knew for centuries that a large round stone in the center of the pediment for the temple included a carved relief of the Roman god. But Christians in the 4th or 5th century tore down that pagan temple. Modern archaeologists assumed that the stone had been carried off somewhere until a paving contractor in the 20th century overturned a 6-foot diameter stone and discovered that the image of Sol Invictus had been pulled off the temple and placed face down in the mud for 1,500 years. You can just imagine the immense satisfaction of those 5th century Christians that they had doing this damage to the temple while they destroyed the temple and pushed the Roman god face down in the mud. Over in the hot springs, archaeologists have found that the top layer of the deep spring contains Christian pilgrims, where Christians seeking healing in the baths would toss in pilgrimages or items, religious items that they paid for as part of their healing. And then beneath the Christian layer, archaeologists found Roman items from Roman pilgrims appealing to Sol Invictus and the other Roman gods for the same kind of healing in the hot springs. And then below the Roman level, they found items, the same kind of religious items and so forth, going back to the Druids in 2000 BC. It just seems to me that what goes around comes around.